Hi. I know I said that I was going to get the DDLC video out this week. That's not going to happen right now because I want to talk about this first. So I'm gonna talk about it. Also, I got new specs. Check them out. They're awesome. They're so cute, aren't they? So, my dog. My dog is like the most important living thing to me right now because she has been the only constant in my life for the past 5 years, and she's very near and dear to me. Hi, Goop. What you doing? Hi. Oh. So here she. Ouch! Ouch! You're scratching, mommy. Ouch. Here she is. She's fine. Look over here. What is that? Oh, you know. She wants to lay back down, I think. Yep, there she goes. My dog is a very old lady. And with being an old lady, there come complications. So she's normally very energetic and stuff. Like, she sleeps a lot of the day, but if you say like a trigger word like outside or then she gets really excited, you know, as any other dog would. It's funny because anytime I go out and someone like goes and sees her and pets her, they're like, how old is she? I'm like, she's about 10. They're like, no way, she acts like a puppy. And that's very reassuring for me. But yeah, I got her about 5 years ago, and the people that gave her to me said that the vet thought she was 5 or so. So in reality, we don't actually know how old she is. She could be younger, but she could also be older. And so with that in mind, I have just, you know, tried to keep a level head about, you know, being really sensitive about the time that I have with her. This is her current position, so just keep that in mind as we move forward. So here's the long and short of it. My dog had 2 cancerous tumors. So here's what happened. So August of last year, I had moved back to a state that I didn't want to be in, but I had to for a few different reasons. Mostly to go back to school and like get a head start on that, kind of get my footing back together, and then go back out into the world in a month. Like a month from today, I mean, not a month from that last August. So I went back and I noticed pretty quickly that like the first or second week of us living over here, my dog started limping, and then I was like, okay, well, you know, sometimes dogs will do that, whatever. I didn't really think much of it for a few days, and then like the 5th day or something, I looked at her foot because I was like, what's going on here? Because I couldn't find any foxtails or anything, because that's what I thought it was, because sometimes she'll limp after a foxtail, and I looked like at each day and I was like, I don't see anything here, so maybe it'll just work itself out. Which is stupid. I know. I should have just taken her to the vet right away since I couldn't figure it out myself. And so the 5th day I looked at that foot again, and it was her back right, I think, was the first one that it happened to. So her right hind leg. And I saw that at the base of her nail there was oozing. And so I went to the vet the very next morning, and I was like, I don't know what this is. It could be like a nail infection. Either way, it's not something I can deal with by myself. And so I went, and they were like, oh yeah, looks like just a nail infection. We'll have to pull that nail off. We don't know if it's gonna grow back, but you know, it should be okay after a bit of healing. And I'm like, great, excellent. So they pull it off, and they said that it easily plucked off, which was gross. And that they were startled by how easily it fell off. And so, you know, I took her back home, they wrapped her foot up, whatever, and I was like, great, so we should be good now. It didn't get better. She kept limping, and, which was strange. So I brought her back and saw that, you know, her foot was still really swollen, and so they saw that and everything, and they were like, so it could be like a tumor. That word scared me. It would scare any dog owner, I think. And they were like, but listen, it's probably not going to be cancerous. It's like maybe like 33% chance, but it's probably not going to be. It's probably fine. And I was like, okay, great. Can we get her? And here's the thing. They couldn't remove just the tumor with where it was. It was like on one of her toes. And so they said they wouldn't, it'd be very difficult to get it to be removed fully if they just went for the tumor and left the toe. So they were talking about amputation. And again, a really big scary word where I was like, oh my god, my baby is going to get an amputation. And I'm like thinking all these things, and I'm like, well, if I were to get a toe amputation, I'd be devastated. That's my digit. And so, you know, I was really upset about this, but then they reminded me, like, listen, dogs are a little more adaptive than we are, a lot more adaptive than we are, actually. She's not even going to notice. It's not going to affect the way she walks. Meanwhile, if we do, like pain prevention and stuff for the rest of her life, not only would I have to purchase the pills for the rest of her life, but over time, the way that she walks, like, around it is going to damage, or was going to damage, like, her bones, like, all the way up her leg. And so it just wouldn't have been good or worth it at all to keep the toe. And so with those things in mind, and knowing that my dog is a lot more resilient than I give her credit for, and that she was going to be fine and not even really notice a difference, or really walk differently at all, I was like, okay, fine, let's remove the toe and let's send it to get biopsied. So we remove the toe, and, you know, my dog is like, she's doing a lot better, you know? She was doing a lot better. And then I go in because I was a bit concerned about another nail infection that she had on her front right foot this time. And then, you know, we got that taken care of, but at the same time they were like, oh, they want to talk to you about the results of the biopsy. And I was like, I thought they were going to call me. But also, I had also went because I had to remove the bandage off of her first amputation. So anyway, so we had gone to remove the bandage initially. Sorry, I didn't know that there was... We had gone to remove the bandage, mostly. That was the main reason for our appointment. And then also I wanted to look at the other foot, because I was like, oh no, oh my god, it looks like another nail infection, but surely it's just a nail infection this time. It can't happen twice. Foreshadowing. So I go in, you know, and, you know, they remove the bandage, and while they're removing the bandage, the doctor comes up, and he's like, so... It came back as squamous cell carcinoma. Squamous cell carcinoma is a type of cancerous tumor. I can't give you too much of an in-depth thing about it, but it does affect specific types of dogs. If they're older, it's going to be more likely to get them. If they are a certain breed, if there are a few different breeds, it's more likely to get to them. I mean, for them to get it. Sorry, that's such ominous wording. I'm so sorry. Two of those breeds being poodles and golden retrievers, both which are breeds that were found in Odile's DNA when I did an embark test. And so I, like, instantly broke down. It was really upsetting to hear that, you know, my dog had, like, a kind of cancer, you know? Like, that's scary. Ugh, sorry. I'm, like, trying to, like, stabilize myself and stuff, but he's like, yeah, so we can send you to an oncologist to talk more about the results and stuff. We can send you to the ones that did the testing, that did the biopsy. And I'm like, yes, please, oh my god, just so that I can get some peace of mind that it was, like, completely removed, and, you know, what else to do about it and stuff, and what to look out for from then and on. And then I brought attention to her other toe, and they were like, oh, it's just a nail infection. They took off that nail too because it just got bad so quickly. And then we went to the oncologist. The oncologist confirmed that it was a complete excision, I think is the word. It was a complete excision, which means that all of it was removed. So that means that when they removed the toe, they were certain that all of the mass was removed as well. Like, nothing was remaining. So that was amazing to hear and very relieving. So anyway, we come back a week later, and you know, we look at the foot again, her front right foot, because now her back right is fine. It's gone. The toe's been amputated, and she's walking great, except she's still limping on her front right. And I'm like, hey, this hasn't gone away. They look at it and they're like, this looks exactly the way that the first one did. And I said, you have got to be kidding me. because I told myself, I was like, oh my god, this was such a nightmare. I can never go through this again. Oh my god. So, you know, we got the surgery done the next week. And again, it was a complete excision. There was a lot of, I forget what it's called, but the space between healthy tissue and the kind of sick tissue, or the mass, that area was quite large. And so I was reassured that it was gone again. And then it was another 2 weeks of healing. And yeah, so that's what happened. That's been the last thing that's had to happen. It took a really long time to heal because cancerous tissue takes longer to heal than regular tissue. So it took like 3 weeks more like for both times. Well, the first time we were really lucky. It just took like 2 weeks almost-ish. And then the second time it took 3 weeks. It was a little bit longer. But yeah, so just some stuff that I wanted to talk about in case if maybe you suspect that maybe this might be happening to your dog. Hi, Goob. So it's not always going to be squamous cell carcinoma, so please remember that. It could always just be a nail infection. This is why it's so important that if you see your dog constantly getting at like their foot or another extremity, it is so important to just take them to the vet. Just take them to the vet, please, because there's an alternate universe out there where well, I don't know if there was, because she was struggling a lot. I absolutely in every universe would have taken her to the vet anyway. But there are sometimes, you know, where someone doesn't think it's worth it. And if your dog is licking at their foot that constantly and it's like that, like bulby and like gross and swollen, yeah, you should probably take them to the vet. Like as soon as possible before it gets any bigger and before it impedes it, like it gets in the way of their quality of life. Like it sucks for them, like it does. And she was in so much pain, she would not let the vet touch her foot, like at all. It was really hard to see. And then when I took the bandage off the first time, she buried herself into my chest because it was hurting so bad, which broke my heart totally. But like I'm happy that she knew that she can go to me if she's in pain. But anyway, she was limping a lot, she was licking at it a lot. She really like pulled away super hard anytime I tried to look at it. So again, if you see any of those and you don't pull out a fox tail and it gets better or whatever, and if that doesn't happen, absolutely 100% go to your vet. It happens to, again, like I said, poodles and golden retrievers are some of the breeds that it happens the most to. And then they told me to feel at her nodes, just to make sure that things are okay. So like her nodes around her neck and like the back of her, like kind of where her back legs do that little dip. And then the same behind her knees of her front legs, or more like her knee pit, I think is what they said. Actually, I think you can look for them in both places. I'm not a professional, I'm sorry. I'm only giving you general information. But of course if you ask a vet about it, they'll be able to tell you all about it. But yeah, so this video is just for talking about Odile and how she got better, and she's been walking great, and she's back to her usual self, and she's very patient when I hold her foot now. She just sits there and is like, I'm good girl. Yes. So yeah, and I recognize that with a diagnosis at all of any kind of carcinoma, we are very fortunate. I am so incredibly thankful that like she's healthy and well, and I ache for those who hear that news and it's in a different set of like circumstances, and you know, the ending isn't always as great, you know, but the point is that the time that we have with our dogs is filled with so much love, and that means so much to them. So just, you know, hold your little lads and lasses tightly, you know, tell them you love them. They can feel it when you say that. And you're their world. They value you so much. There's nothing more important to them than you. So just please show them that you love them. And yeah, thank you for letting me talk about that terrible several month experience. It was really hard, but you know, we got through it. And again, like that time where I said I could never do this again, and then it happened immediately again after, you'd be surprised by what you can withstand once you actually have to do it. So, you know, have a lot of faith in yourself if there are any complications with your dog and stuff, like, you can get through it. And as long as you are there with them, your dog will be at ease, okay? They love you so much. So yeah, thanks for letting me talk about that. I'm gonna continue working on the DDLC video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. You say bye? Okay.